Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we are going to talk about a movie which I saw recently, which I saw on Amazon Prime. It goes by the name Ambush. When you hear the name Ambush, the name is self-explanatory. It means somebody is suddenly attacking. And where do you find this context? You find this context in case of, mostly in case of armies. This movie is based on a true story. It is based on experience of US soldiers in Vietnam. When you speak of Vietnam, the location is Southeast Asia. So the main reason why America decided to go to war in Vietnam is not the attack on the American destroyer on August 5th, 1964. The destroyer which goes by the name Tonkin Tonkin torpedo incident. But America feared that there will be a domino effect with China accepting communism in 1949. So America had the fear that if Vietnam also becomes a communist country, it will create problems. Vietnam was divided into South Vietnam and North Vietnam. South Vietnam was ruled by Dinh Diem. That was a kind of capitalist democracy type of thing. Um, Capitalist government, and the North Vietnam was controlled by Chin Min. It was a communist party, and the North Vietnam was supported by since it is a communist entity, it was supported by China and Russia and other communist countries. So by default, the South Vietnam was supported by America and Australia and some other countries. So everybody is like it again became the American playground for international forces like Afghanistan. And this movie is available on Amazon Prime, and it's directed by Mark Berman. As far as watching the movie is concerned, is it exciting or is it interesting? The movie is slow paced. It talks about the ills of war, and mostly it is not very exciting to watch. It's not like a very fast movie. It's a slow movie. You have to have patience to watch this movie. But there is one thing you will find which is different in this movie. That is a big thing which, if you can get you hooked down once that thing starts. That thing is how American army went into the tunnels of Vietnam. The Vietnam was completely different from other wars. The reason being, the Vietnamese they used to go underground. They used to hide inside the tunnels. There was this tunnel which was close to 250 kilometers long. Imagine 250 kilometers long, and the tunnel is not very wide. Mostly Vietnamese people are thin and they are not very tall, so it became easy for them to get into the tunnel and store their weapons there. And whenever they used to be chased by American soldiers, they used to get into the tunnel, close the lid. For some time, the American soldiers, they didn't even know where these people came from and where these people went. It was a very good intricate maze of tunnels, so it became difficult for Americans to understand it. And Americans are tall and fat, most of them well built. When I say fat, they were well built. So it was difficult for them to move across these tunnels. But see the resilience of any country. What they did was they formed a group called Tunnel Rats. This was a special division which consists of people who are like close to 5.5 in height and thin, and they had this ability to understand tunnels, and they were away from all the normal routine activities that these soldiers did. And if you want to see how difficult it was for the American soldiers to operate in these tunnels, you will find very few movies describing this aspect of the war, the tunnel aspect of the war. So if you want to see that aspect, then you can watch this movie. Otherwise, the movie is the same old thing. The American general shouting aloud, very expressing himself, and yes sir, and all those things. And apart from that, if you want to know about the history of this place, Vietnam is part of Southeast Asia, once ruled by France. France tried its best to get this country back, but the country resisted. It was also ruled by Japan. Again, Japan, we have very little information on Japan, because we whenever we read more, we realize that Japan had attacked so many countries, and it had taken over so many countries. So about this movie, the pluses are the main pluses are how to like the main pluses are to see how America and American troops were able to understand to some extent the tunnel intricacies, because ultimately America had to go out from Vietnam, and they did not win this war in real sense. So this is, if you want to know, if you want to watch this movie or not, then if you have a list of 3 4 movies, you can keep it at number two, but not definitely on number one. So you can watch it once for just to know and understand the way the tunnel acted, how people took their